It's a Monday morning, and getting prepared for the week, I guess you might say, in one way or another. Going with the Midnight Lavender. This one here it's a really nice scent. It's a lavender, bergamot, rose, jasmine, orange blossom, sandalwood, musk, amber. It's got all that in there. And this is what it looks like here on the inside. Started out being 4.5 ounces when I first got this. Uh, it is for a Monday morning trying to, in other words, it's going to be a stressful week. I already know this. Last week was too, but anyway, this one here I thought would be a good one to start the week out with. I'm going to follow up with an aftershave that I don't think is available anymore. It's from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, and this one here is Lavender and Cedar. I've had this one for a moment, but I don't think he offers that. I don't think Douglas offers that anymore. I've already put a hot towel to the vase this morning and used the Preshave oil from Maggard here. This one here is Sweet Orange. And got this soap whipped up with a synthetic brush. This one here is by the way of Mac Metalworks. And you're not going to be able to find this. So this is like probably a one-off. But it's a pearl handle with a black top there. It's really, this scent is, I can smell it. I've got it whipped up here in the Fine Accoutrements lathering bowl here. Whips up really nice. I have to say this soap base is, you know how scents are, but this soap base, it is pretty cool. I like it. Blade of choice today is going to be the Gillette 7 o'clock. This one here is sometimes referred to as the black one, but it's super platinum. And it also comes double wrapped if you're interested in that sort of thing. And razor of choice. This one here, not to be confused with the Fat Boy, but this is FatGuy. This one here is Global Shave. I'll have a link down below for this stuff. This one here is available for about, I think, $99. And it is patterned after the Fat Boy. And feels pretty good in the hand, but that's going to be the shave of the day. There's more than one reason why I was shaving with this one here today. I've been working up through some of the adjustable razors I've had in my den, and this one here is one of them. And I got an email a few days ago. Global Shave was going to try their hand at replicating the toggle, and which is, for some folks that is one of those things that they would like to get, but can't necessarily afford it. The toggles are pretty expensive, mainly because there's just not very many of them. And of course, it's based off of the Fat Boy. But if you're familiar with the Gillette toggle, it has a unique, I guess you might say, end of the handle's unique. And sometime towards the end of this month, going into July, there should be an announcement for crowdfunding for the toggle, with the idea that you can get in dollar-wise right around the $150 mark and go upwards of $200, which the last time I seen anything done in the way of a replication of a toggle, the end result was, I think, right around $500 was the going price. And for a lot of people, of course, that's not within their price range. It could be $150 to $200. Might come closer to being in your price range. For me, a toggle, it is one of those things I should mention. Got this on setting 9, by the way. Toggle is one of those razors that I'm not. I mean, if you're collecting, I understand. But for me, I don't know how that handle, the way the end of it, where the toggle part is at, I don't know if that's for me or not. In other words, from a collector standpoint, I definitely understand it. But for me to actually, use it on even a semi-regular basis, once in a while, I don't know if I could get used to the handle. I don't know that I could. That is something that gives, once you get past the ooh and ah and all that sort of thing of the razor, I don't know that I could do it. It is something that I'd have to give considerable thought before I spend that kind of money on a razor that has a handle that I may not be able to mentally adjust to. It's just a hurdle that I have to get past. I don't know that I can do it. I mean, it is a very unique looking shaver. For me, I don't know. All right, this was setting 9. I don't know if you can see that or not. Open the doors up just a tad bit. Going to run down to 7. I should mention that this 9, in my opinion, my experience, shaving with a 9 on this one here, and a shaving with a 9 with a Gillette adjustable, doesn't matter, pick one. This 9 is more aggressive. It does have more of a blade feel to it. So that is something that give us some thought. At least for me, I shaved with a 9 on most of the Gillette adjustables, and it doesn't quite have the blade feel that this 9 does. This 9's got more blade feel, and it's got a little bit more aggressive feel to it. So if you're thinking that the past Gillettes that you've used in the way of adjustables, and the 9's not quite aggressive enough, this one here might do the trick for you. And of course the price range is a bit more affordable for being new. Tony's our German Shepherd. Matter of fact, yeah, that's quite a story within itself right there. I'll get in that in just a minute. Let me see if I can get him to calm down. This past week has been quite exciting. You might find setting 7 to be close to a 9. At least my experience, that's what it feels like. Work has been quite busy. Family's been quite busy. We've had a lot of rain here in Oklahoma, more than normal, and so a number of little things have taken place, and then some larger things have taken place. And it started out a direct result of the rain. Was the first one was the ants in the mailbox. Yeah, all the ants, bugs, they're looking for a place to, get away from the rain because everything is so wet. And it was interesting that day when I pulled the mail out. Didn't notice it right off the start. Pulled it out, kind of noticed there was a few ants in the mailbox, and then, you get those ads that come in the mail, and I flipped it over, and the ants are just all over the ads. And then I realized they're crawling up my arm and so on and so forth. That was the first indication that the insects have had all they can handle of the rain. And so in other words, all the bugs are looking for a better place to stay at. And get to the long story. So the next major thing, let's say major, the very first major, those are just minor little things besides the bugs finding homes in your house. And the next thing that popped up was the birds had found a way to get up through the eave of the house, and so there'd be birds up in the attic near the fireplace. And I think I'm going ahead and do my usual thing, bump down to setting 5 there. So that was irritating Tony, our German Shepherd. And I'm sure that's what's going on now. there's something outside that he's wanting to get to. But so what happened next was birds were driving the dogs crazy, which wasn't such a bad thing, but they were get to barking and carrying on over there at the fireplace because they could hear the birds in the attic. And the rain continued, and then next thing you know, we had something else that was up in the attic. A small family of raccoons had made it to the attic. They had managed to climb up to the eave and get into the attic. And of course, the small family was not on the rafters. So they fell through the ceiling. And this happened while we were not home. My wife and I were out shopping. The kids called in a panic because we got raccoons in the house. One adult and 3 babies. And of course they're babies, but they're not quite that small. In other words, they're not a year old or anything quite like that. They're still not fully grown by any means. But 3 of them, and plus the adult on the sheetrock, and of course they just fell right on in. So we got home, wife and I. We were already on our way home, so it didn't take very long to get there. And the corral the raccoons. Wife threw a towel on them. I'd opened up the window, threw them out the window. And then, of course, it's still raining at this point in time. I go outside. Just a little bit of stinging this morning. I go outside to see where they were coming in at. I knew that there was a small place where the birds were coming in at. Of course, now there's a bigger hole, and it was pretty wild. They were just climbing straight up the side of the fireplace, and so I had to convince them to go over to the larger tree, and it took quite a bit of convincing to get them to go over there. And finally got them to go up the tree instead of going back up the eave. That was the first major one. So while we were gone and these critters had made it to the house, Tony had tore a hole in the wall trying to get to the raccoon that was in the wall. It was, like I said, it was wild. Anyway, so the next thing that took place was the bees. This is really a nice scent. The cedar, the thought of putting cedar with this was give it a nice twist with the lavender. So the next thing that happened, maybe 3 days afterwards, we got a whole horde of bees, swarm of bees in the house. We had 2 skylights, and they were all hanging up by the skylights, and pretty much staying up there. But the one thing that we had noticed that was really kind of odd is that these bees were not, how can you say, aggressive or anything like that, but they were also basically just falling out of the sky. They would just fall almost dead on the floor, and eventually they would die. All these bees that we had in our house up around our skylight was dying. Have no idea what was going on. So for 2 days we had all these bees that were up by our skylight that ended up dying all over the floor. Have no idea what was wrong with them, where they come from, anything of the sort. Anyway, yes, it's been fun here. Very exciting place to be in my house. Really not. This scent is really nice. I do like the cedar. The cedar and the lavender working well for my nose. I had a great shave. Once again, I'll have the information down below for this FatGuy, and hopefully maybe sometime here pretty soon they'll come out with the crowdfunding. So those who are interested in getting a toggle without having to pay $500, $600 or so dollars or more. If you're interested, check them out. Had a great shave. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.